Hey there, besties. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're continuing our recap of the manhwa, The Cellist. If you're new to this series, check the description below for links to previous episodes. Lastly, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy the video. It really helps our channel grow. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get started. Ji Sehun placed his hand gently on Hayeon's, but she quickly retracted it, her cheeks flushing. You have quite an entertaining manager, Sehun, Jack said with a sly smile. Is that just a compliment, or are you showing interest? Ji Sehun asked, his tone even. Let's say it's both, Jack replied, meeting his gaze calmly. Sehun remained quiet, his mind drifting to the conversation he and Hayeon had before leaving their hotel room. You're wearing your ring tonight? Hayeon had asked, surprised to see him slip it on. Yes, he replied simply. No, you can't, she protested. They'll find out about us. Then how about only I wear it tonight, he suggested. Let's keep our work and personal lives separate. Please. Hayeon had reluctantly agreed, showing him the ring still on her finger with a smile. You two seem really close. I even saw you hugging earlier, Jack said, his grin widening. Hayeon stiffened but managed a composed smile. Sure, we are pretty close. I hope he didn't see us kiss. We did cover it with our hands, she thought nervously, brushing her flushed cheeks. They clinked their glasses. You must be pretty special to be working with Sehun, Chris remarked to Hayeon. I'm flattered you think so, she replied as Sehun quietly sipped his wine. I'm in love with her, Sehun said in German, setting his glass down firmly. Is he speaking German? Hayeon wondered, her brow furrowed as the conversation shifted languages. Chris hesitated before responding. So, are you in a relationship? Yes, Sehun answered, his tone resolute. I had no idea, Chris replied. If you're even working together, she must be very special to you. We're thinking of getting married, Sehun added. Have you proposed yet? Chris asked. I will, Sehun said, his words deliberate. Sehun, what are you guys talking about? Why don't you just use English? Hayeon whispered, her confusion evident. We're talking about music, Sehun replied smoothly. Oh, she murmured, settling down. If it's about music, it should be fine for me to listen, right? She thought, picking up her phone to use a translator. When you get to my age, there's nothing more joyful than seeing young love, Chris said, switching back to German. Why don't you tell me more? We've already met each other's parents, Sehun said. Hayeon glanced at her phone, growing frustrated with the imperfect translation. I couldn't imagine leaving her in Korea, so I brought her with me. I get anxious when she's not around. Honestly, I'd rather be home with her right now, Sehun admitted quietly. Chris chuckled. Quite straightforward, aren't you? Well, let's eat. I wouldn't want to get in the way of your good times. I remember when I was dating my wife, Jack added, smiling warmly. I missed her so much I flew to the States in the middle of the night. I can't even endure the thought of waiting for a flight to see her, Sehun replied calmly, raising his glass. Respect to her for agreeing to come all this way to be your manager, Chris said. Hayeon shifted awkwardly, raising her phone in an attempt to translate their conversation. Sweat dotted her brow as she fumbled to explain herself when Sehun suddenly snatched the phone. Translator, he asked, noticing the app open. After muttering something in German, he handed the phone back to her. Hayeon read the screen, her face turning crimson before she hurriedly closed the app. You should at least stay and have dinner with us, Chris said to Ji Sehun. We will, Sehun replied calmly. Then, with a smirk, he added, hurry up and eat so we can go home. Back in their hotel room, Hayeon immediately spoke up. I'm showering first, she said as they stepped inside. Let's shower together, Sehun suggested casually, leaning against the doorframe. We have 2 bathrooms. Let's each use our own, she shot back, her tone sharp, though her face betrayed her with a sudden blush. Sehun smirked. Well, that would save time, he thought, pulling off his shirt as she hurried into the bathroom. Hayeon took a quick shower, drying her hair as she noticed something hanging on the door, her lingerie. What the? She muttered, quickly removing it and shoving it back into the wardrobe before slamming the door shut. By the time Sehun emerged from the other bathroom, Hayeon was seated at the desk, fully dressed and flipping through her notes. What are you doing? He asked, his brow furrowed. Studying, she replied without looking up. I'm going to learn German so I can understand everything. Go to bed without me. I need to study a bit more, she added, engrossed in her notes. Sehun approached quietly, watching her intently before flicking the pen from her hand. What? She exclaimed, startled, turning to face him. You're wearing pajamas, he pointed out, his tone calm but teasing. Hayeon blinked, momentarily stunned. Oh, right. I told him I'd think about the lingerie if he went to the dinner. But we barely had any time alone because of his tour. I said I'd think about it, not that I'd do anything. Her cheeks flushed at the thought. Sehun, you promised not to bother me when I'm studying, she said firmly. He didn't reply, his gaze fixed on her, unreadable. Don't forget the rehearsal tomorrow is at 2. Set your alarm, she reminded him, reaching for her phone. But Sehun grabbed it first. I'll teach you, he said simply, walking away toward the speaker. What? What are you doing? She asked, her tone filled with uncertainty. He linked her phone to the speaker, playing a song that filled the room. It's 11 at night. You can't turn up the music this loud. Hayeon protested, walking over to him. Sehun took her hand, pulling her closer. Let's study, he said, guiding her toward the bed. Before she could respond, he eased her onto the mattress, his movements calm but deliberate. Tell me, he said softly, leaning in closer, what song is this? His face was just inches from hers, his intense gaze locking with hers. Hayeon's cheeks burned as her heart raced. Tell me what song it is, Ji Sehun asked gently, his voice calm yet insistent. I don't know, Hayeon replied, her face flushed. Their lips met, hands entwined as the warmth between them deepened. The next morning, the knock on the door brought Hayeon out of her thoughts. Miss Lee entered the apartment, carrying 2 paper bags. Did you sleep well? Miss Lee asked, taking a seat across from Hayeon at the dining table. Yes. How about you? Hayeon replied politely, forcing a smile. Of course. I managed to finish everything quickly after you helped me out yesterday and covered for Sehun, Miss Lee said, unpacking food from one of the bags. What time did you get to bed? Hayeon asked curiously. 3 a.m. Hayeon's eyes widened slightly. She was up that late? Good morning, everyone. Hayoungsik's cheerful voice broke through as he entered the room. Good morning. Come join us, Miss Lee said with a welcoming smile. Hayeon's face tensed slightly. They were in their rooms right next door last night. Could they have heard me? Miss Lee's voice pulled her back. Don't you get exhausted jogging every morning? Hayeon blinked. Yeah, but Sehun went without me today, she replied, her cheeks flushing at the mention of his name. Oh, there he is, Miss Lee announced as Ji Sehun walked into the room in a bathrobe, towel drying his hair. I couldn't go jogging because he wouldn't let me get any sleep last night. Hayeon thought, her face flushing at the memory. I made a simple breakfast. I hope it's all right, Miss Lee said as Sehun took his seat next to Hayeon. Ji Sehun nodded in appreciation. Looks like nothing interesting happened during dinner last night. Miss Lee asked, glancing at Sehun. Of course. Nothing at all, he replied calmly. You two were okay last night too, right? Hayeon asked, trying to sound casual as she nibbled on her croissant. And you didn't hear anything, did you? I just heard some drunk people outside, Hayoungsik said with a yawn. That's all. Hayeon asked, still uncertain. Miss Kim, all the rooms here are soundproof, Miss Lee said with a sly smile. What? Hayeon exclaimed, her face turning red. Just so you know, Miss Lee added with an amused smirk. It's a relief, but it feels like she knows something. Hayeon thought, her expression growing serious. I wasn't lying, Ji Sehun said, his voice calm as he caught her gaze. I'm glad. That way, they'll never have to hear us fight. Right? Hayeon asked, forcing a smile. Why would we fight? I take care of you, Sehun teased, draping an arm over her shoulder. I can't disagree, she thought reluctantly. Do you know what sets Sehun apart from other artists? Miss Lee asked suddenly. I couldn't say, Hayeon replied. His hands, Miss Lee said. They're big and slender, perfect for playing the cello. Yes, and other things too. Wait, what am I thinking? Hayeon's thoughts raced, her cheeks flushing as her eyes brightened. He was born for it, Miss Lee continued. He can handle a wider range of strings compared to artists with smaller hands, and his speed is incredible. Miss Lee, can we stop talking about his fingers? Hayeon said quickly, desperate to change the topic. This is all your fault, Sehun, she thought, her face flushed with embarrassment as everyone's eyes turned to her in confusion. The next day, they met Chris at the theater. Hayeon found herself watching Ji Sehun closely. He approached her. "Here. Wet wipes," she said, handing him a packet. "Thanks," he said, wiping his hands. Hayeon couldn't help but blush as she glanced at his fingers. "Don't make that face. I want to do it with you," Ji Sehun said in German, his tone teasing. "Here we go again," she thought, looking unimpressed. "Sehun, it's rude to talk about someone in a language they can't understand," Miss Lee interjected, walking over to them. "What did I do?" he asked, feigning innocence. "I'm fine," Hayeon said with a smile, diffusing the situation. "Your rehearsal is over, and you have 30 minutes left. Do you want to play more or rest?" she asked Sehun. "I'm done." "Let's go to the waiting room," he said, reaching for her hand. "Let's just rest here," she replied. He studied her briefly before relenting and taking a seat. "The time is," Hayeon murmured, checking her phone. "I can't wait any longer," Sehun thought, glancing at her. "Baby," he said in German, catching her attention. "I don't know who you belong to, but you're lovely today," he added with a soft smile. "I wonder whose girlfriend you are," Ji Sehun said in German, his tone teasing. "Because you're perfect." "I don't know what you're saying, but you need to get your makeup done now," Hayeon replied, causing him to smile as he watched her. "I can't listen to this," Miss Lee thought, visibly frustrated. "I think I'll go check on things in the waiting room," she snapped, walking away. "Sure, see you soon," Hayeon said with a polite smile. "So you're just going to keep speaking German in front of me, is that it?" she thought, hurriedly searching for a translation app on her phone. Just then, two women approached them. "Hi, we just wanted to say thanks for the chocolate," one of them said to Hayeon. "Oh, I'm glad you liked it," she replied, her face flushing slightly. "Phew, it was worth using my own money to make a good impression on the staff," she thought. "But you already thanked me earlier," she added, smiling. "It was that good," the second woman said with enthusiasm. "You're Sehun's manager, right?" She then turned to Sehun with a bright smile. "We really appreciated it." Hayeon remained quiet, observing the woman's attitude. "It's too bad we didn't get a chance to talk at dinner last night," the first woman said to Ji Sehun. "I was busy," he replied curtly. "When is the DVD of your career performance coming out?" "Jessica here is a huge fan," the second woman asked. "Oh, and would it be okay to take a picture with you?" "A picture?" Hayeon thought, perplexed. "I don't even have a picture with Sehun yet." Ji Sehun nodded calmly. "He said yes?" Hayeon wondered, her expression unsure. "Thank you so much. Can I sit next to you for it?" the woman asked eagerly. Hayeon tried to maintain her composure, though jealousy bubbled under the surface. "No. I have to control myself. I'm the one who asked him to keep our personal and professional lives separate. Why did I suggest that? I can't seem to get both of you in the frame," the second woman said, adjusting her phone. "Do you want me to take it?" Hayeon offered with a smile. "No, that's okay. If I just get a bit closer," the woman replied, leaning closer to Ji Sehun. Hayeon's concern grew as she watched. "Here we go. 1, 2. Before the photo could be taken, Hayeon coughed sharply, drawing everyone's attention. "What's wrong?" Ji Sehun asked, immediately turning to her with concern. "I don't know," she replied, coughing lightly. "Look at me," he said, his tone soft but firm. Their eyes met as the two women looked on, confused. "What are they saying?" the first woman asked her companion in German. "I have no idea," the other replied. "I think I might have a slight fever. I'm going to the bathroom," Hayeon said, her voice quiet. "I'll go too," Ji Sehun replied without hesitation. "No, it's fine. You need to take your picture," she told him. "No, I don't," he said, gently holding her arm. "They're waiting for you," she insisted. "Sorry, something came up," he told the women before leading Hayeon away. Inside the hallway near the restroom, Hayeon spoke quietly. "I'm feeling chills. I think I'll ask Hyungsik if he has any medicine." Before she could step away, Ji Sehun moved in front of her, placing his arms against the wall to block her path. "Okay, but first, let me check," he said, his voice low. Her cheeks flushed. "Did I get caught pretending?" "Look, I really do have a fever," she protested. "Stick your tongue out for me," he said. "What? Why?" she asked, baffled. "So I can suck it," he replied with a teasing grin. No way. You have a full schedule. You can't get sick too, she exclaimed. It's the only way I'll know, he teased further, leaning closer. I really am getting a fever, from being so angry, she thought, closing her eyes in frustration. Ji Sehun chuckled and kissed her softly, silencing her. When he pulled away, his cheeks were slightly flushed, but his smile remained. You're even more adorable when you're jealous, he said. I really do have a fever, she muttered, though her voice was calmer now. I know you, he said with a knowing look. The only time you get heated is when you're turned on. Strange as it is, he's right, she thought begrudgingly. Fine, I was a little jealous, she admitted. You've never taken a photo with me, but you didn't even hesitate when she asked. You've never asked to take a picture, he replied calmly. What the, do I have to ask? Hayeon muttered. Go for it, Ji Sehun said, leaning closer. Want to take a picture of me undressed? No. Why would I want to do that? That's a crime, she exclaimed, glaring at him. He smirked. I'm consenting. You could take a picture of every part. No one else but you. Hayeon pressed a hand to her forehead, flustered. You're so direct and blunt. What if the phone got lost? I'd have to deal with that mess. I'm fine with the normal things we do. He tilted his head. When are you going to tell people you're my girlfriend? Later, she replied, avoiding his gaze. I told you, when we're working, I just want to be known as your manager. Ji Sehun raised an eyebrow. Even after all this? He tugged at his collar, revealing faint red marks on his neck. Her face turned scarlet as she hurriedly buttoned his shirt. Stop that. He chuckled. Why are you shy now? You weren't last night. She groaned. I told you, once I settle into the job, I'll be okay with it. I just want to be recognized for my work, not because I'm your girlfriend. I already accept you, and I think you're amazing. What more is there? You like me for me, not because I'm your manager, she said softly, glancing at him. What's the difference? He leaned closer. You even have full control over me. Whose acceptance are you waiting for? She sighed. Just be patient. Soon, you'll see me wearing our ring, too. She rested her hand against his chest. Ji Sehun smiled, taking her hand in his. You've already made me forget my complaints. Later, after a long day of touring, they sat at dinner with Hayeon. Italy yesterday, Germany today. This schedule is insane, Hayeon muttered, resting his head on the table, exhausted. You did great. Hang in there. Hayeon encouraged, smiling. You too, Miss Kim, he replied with a tired grin. Did you know it's already been 3 months here? I miss Korean food. I don't think I can eat another local dish. Should we go grocery shopping tomorrow and make some Korean food? She suggested. Really? Hayeon's face lit up. Okay, I'm going to bed now so tomorrow comes sooner. Good night. He dashed off, leaving the room. Good night. Get plenty of rest. Hayeon called after him. As the door closed, Ji Sehun wrapped an arm around her waist. You startled me. What's wrong? She asked, looking up at him. We haven't had any time alone, he murmured. Oh, she said, looking away. But I'm really tired today. Without a word, he scooped her up and carried her to the bed. I said I'm tired, she protested. I know. So go to sleep, he said gently, settling down beside her. You've been losing too much sleep lately. Hayeon blinked, touched by his concern. As she drifted off, she thought, that's true, I really haven't been sleeping much. The next morning, Ji Sehun woke to find her side of the bed empty. He sat up quickly, scanning the room. At the desk, Hayeon was seated, earphones in, absorbed in something. Quietly, he walked over and sat on the edge of the table. I want to do it so freaking bad, he said in German, a teasing smile on his lips. Hayeon startled him by replying in fluent German. Why are you so vulgar? His eyes widened in shock. You understand German? Of course, she said, unplugging her earphones with a small grin. And you always say the simplest things. Ji Sehun remained quiet, his surprise evident. She's been studying German this whole time? He thought. Once this festival performance is over, let's speak German together until you're tired of it. What do you say? Hayeon asked, crossing her arms with a playful smile. Ji Sehun stayed silent, his thoughts racing. What's wrong? You don't want me to, she teased, still speaking German. You don't give me a chance to get tired of you, he finally said, his gaze steady. You're already perfect. I thought it wasn't possible to fall for you more, but somehow, you always prove me wrong. Hayeon smiled, her cheeks slightly flushed. I like the sound of that, she replied in German. Later, Hayeon stopped by a cafe. Hi, Chris. How have you been? Yes, I have your tickets ready. I heard you'll be staying in Vienna for 4 days, she said over the phone. I couldn't turn down an invitation from you. How's it been working with Sehun? Chris asked. One moment, Hayeon replied, briefly pulling the phone away as she approached the counter. 1 Americano and 1 chamomile tea, please. Not too hot, just drinkable, around 37 degrees, she told the barista. Certainly, the barista replied, getting to work. Things are progressing well. Sehun's been wanting to see you too. Let me know when you'll arrive, and I'll greet you with a bright smile. How does 6 p.m. sound? Hayeon continued, resuming her call. Perfect. I'll call you then, Chris said. Thank you. See you soon, she replied before ending the call. Dialing another number, she asked, Hi, Ms. Lee. Would you like coffee? Thank you, Ms. Kim. I was just thinking of getting some. Ms. Lee replied. Does Hyungsik need coffee too? Hayeon asked. Yes, you're the best, Ms. Kim. Hyungsik chimed in. Your order is ready, the barista said, catching her attention. Thank you, Hayeon replied, picking up the drinks and heading out. Across the street, Ji Sehun waited patiently. He's so handsome, she thought, her cheeks warming as she approached him. Excuse me, but you're just so good-looking I had to get you a coffee, she said, leaning closer as she handed him his drink. Don't act, he said plainly. Why? Was I awkward this time too? She asked, sitting opposite him, a playful smile on her lips. He sipped his tea. It's nice, he said. He's been drinking herbal tea every day since I recommended it, Hayeon thought, feeling a quiet sense of pride. Her watch beeped. Ah. Sehun, can we take a walk while we drink? She asked. No, he replied. Huh? Why not? This is my pastime, he said simply. She works so hard for me every day. She deserves this break, he thought. I never imagined sitting at a cafe would be your pastime. Since it's something you like, I'll respect it, Hayeon said, smiling warmly. That smile. It's why I'm here. My reputation has improved so much this past year, Ji Sehun thought, watching her. How does your ring feel on stage? Is it uncomfortable? Hayeon asked. I'm used to it now, he replied. I was worried it might distract you, but I'm glad you've adjusted, she said, her expression thoughtful. Ji Sehun's gaze lingered on her teacup. Don't you get tired? He asked suddenly. Me? She asked, startled. It's been over a year since we got here, he said softly. He's never asked me this before, she thought. Wow, you're right. It has been over a year. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired, but when I watch you perform, I forget all the difficulties. That's how happy it makes me. I even enjoy the unfamiliar landscapes, and these quiet moments make it all worthwhile, she said, her face glowing with contentment. I feel a sense of accomplishment working as your manager. By now, I've adjusted enough to even enjoy meeting new people. Moving here with you was a good choice, Hayeon said, her expression calm. I still have a long way to go to catch up to Ms. Lee, but I think I'm doing pretty well. What do you think? So, you're fully adjusted? Ji Sehun asked, his tone even. Sure? Why are you asking this all of a sudden? Is there something you don't like? Hayeon asked, a hint of tension in her voice. What could I ever dislike about you? He replied, standing from his seat. You're leaving? Hayeon asked, looking uncertain. You said you wanted to walk, he said, holding out his hand. They walked together, their hands clasped. There's an hour left until your rehearsal. You're going to get ready, right? Hayeon asked. Should I? He teased. I'd certainly appreciate it, Mr. Ji, she replied playfully. He frowned slightly. What did I say about acting? Okay, Sehun. Let's go and make sure you're in good condition to perform, Hayeon said with a smile. Hayeon, he said, his tone suddenly serious. I'm nice, aren't I? Of course. You've always been the best, haven't you? She replied cheerfully. This is my limit, Ji Sehun thought as he noticed the light flush on her face. At the theater, Ji Sehun prepared for rehearsal. Good luck, Sehun. Hyung-sik cheered from the side. I'm going to do it today, Ji Sehun said quietly, catching Hyung-sik's attention. Oh, that. Hyung-sik whispered. Get ready, Ji Sehun said firmly. Okay. Hyung-sik replied with a quick salute. Hyung-sik approached Ms. Lee, speaking softly. I think we can execute the plan. Today, she asked, surprised. Yes, Hyung-sik confirmed calmly. I thought we'd have more time, Ms. Lee began, but Hayeon entered the room before she could finish, startling them both. Ms. Lee. Hyung-sik. Where's Sehun? Hayeon asked cheerfully. He's at the entrance, they answered in unison. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Hayeon said before hurrying off. There's no time, Ms. Lee said, turning back to Hyung-sik. We need to get everything done before the performance ends. Understood, he replied. It would have been nice if he'd told us sooner, she muttered. Why am I the one feeling nervous? Whatever. I hope it all works out. That makes two of us, Hyung-sik said, glancing at his phone. That evening, Hayeon arrived dressed in an exquisite gown. Sehun, are you ready? I'm coming in, she said, knocking gently before entering. Ji Sehun stood, already dressed in a sharp suit. All done, he said with a smile. Hayeon's face flushed as she glanced at Ji Sehun. I said I'm ready, Ji Sehun repeated, pulling her from her thoughts. Huh? Oh, okay. Let's go, she said quickly, leading the way and trying to hide her flustered expression. They got into the car. We don't have to stay long. You have a performance tomorrow, so I'm sure Chris will understand, Hayeon said, her tone gentle. I have a higher metabolism than you, Ji Sehun replied casually. I know. I just mentioned it because talking with Chris might leave you feeling drained, she said softly. I'll be fine, he assured her. Hayeon stole a glance at him, noting how much he had changed. He always used to get so tired meeting people, but now he seems at ease, she thought, her excitement growing. You look beautiful today. You make me want to keep you all to myself, he teased. Her cheeks flushed, and her heart raced as she turned her gaze away. They soon arrived at the venue for dinner. A waiter led them to the dining area. Oh, he must not have arrived yet. We're 5 minutes early, so let's wait a bit, Hayeon said as they took their seats. Sure, Ji Sehun replied, his expression calm. He usually hates waiting. What's gotten into him? Hayeon wondered. She quickly pulled out her phone to call Chris before Ji Sehun could get annoyed. Hi, Chris. The traffic is bad, isn't it? I just called to make sure you're getting here safely, she said. Oh no, I'm sorry. I ran into an old friend on my way, and it turns out he's leaving for Sweden tomorrow, Chris replied, sounding apologetic. Ah, I see. That's understandable. We're already here, but your friend is leaving tomorrow, so it makes sense to catch up, Hayeon said, her tone understanding. I was trying to decide what to do, but thank you for understanding, Chris said, relieved. We don't want to miss dinner with you either. How about we reschedule for tomorrow, she suggested. Of course, that sounds great, Chris said cheerfully. Thank you. Enjoy your time with your friend, Hayeon said before ending the call. She turned to Ji Sehun. Something came up with Chris. It'll just be us for dinner, she said, sounding a bit apologetic. I don't mind, Ji Sehun replied calmly. Should we order? Hayeon asked. I can drink, right? Ji Sehun asked as he browsed the menu. Yes, but just a little, she said, smiling. Their food arrived, and they ate quietly. The food here is amazing. I think it'd be nice to bring Hyung-sik and Ms. Lee here sometime, Hayeon said cheerfully. I only want to come here with you, Ji Sehun replied, dabbing his mouth with a handkerchief. Good food is better when shared, she said lightly. Only with you, he repeated firmly. They work with you and are practically around all the time. Shouldn't you treat them like family by now? She asked, her tone concerned. Why would I treat them as family? I don't even do that with my own, Ji Sehun said sharply. Well, sure, but still. You treat me that way, don't you? She asked softly. There was a brief silence before he replied. I want to treat you like family, he said quietly. Just then, the waiter approached their table. Here's your receipt, he said, placing the bill on the table. Let's go, Ji Sehun said as he stood. Huh? Oh, okay, Hayeon replied, quickly following him. As they passed the bar, Ji Sehun slowed his steps, glancing at the bottles on display. Do you want to have another drink? He asked calmly. Hayeon paused briefly before smiling. It does feel like a waste to head back to the hotel already. Just a light drink, okay, she said. They took a seat at the bar, Ji Sehun's gaze drifting toward a grand piano nearby. There's no one here but us. Maybe they just opened. Hayeon mused. Who knows, Ji Sehun replied nonchalantly. What would you like to drink? The bartender asked. I'll have whatever you're having, Hayeon said, glancing at Ji Sehun. 2 glasses of Macallan, on the rocks, Ji Sehun ordered. Hayeon's eyes flicked back to the piano, a small chuckle escaping her lips. Why are you laughing? Ji Sehun asked, his curiosity piqued. Remember when we went to Cebu? At that restaurant, I mistook a double bass for a cello, she said, smiling. You didn't tease me too much about it. How did you let me off the hook so easily? You think you're the only one who's considerate. Ji Sehun said, his words surprising her. I make a lot of considerations for you too, he added, leaning closer. Hayeon froze, caught off guard. Ji Sehun stood up from his seat. I'll show you how much I care about you, he said. At that moment, the bartender placed their drinks on the counter. Here are your drinks, he said. Ji Sehun quickly downed his drink and walked away from the bar. Where are you going? Hayeon asked, puzzled. I'm going to play for you, he replied casually. How? There's no cello here, she pointed out. There is, he said confidently. Just then, a butler entered, carrying a cello case. They had a cello here. Hayeon asked, her brows furrowing. Looks like it, Ji Sehun said with a faint smile. As the cello was uncovered, Hayeon froze. Liar. That's Ji Sehun's cello. I know it anywhere. It suddenly clicked. She remembered seeing Hyung-sik and Ms. Lee carefully handling the cello earlier. Why do you always carry the cello so carefully? She'd asked them once. Because this cello costs over $7 million, Ms. Lee had explained. Hayeon had immediately offered to help. Now, watching Ji Sehun adjust the strings, she felt a mix of disbelief and awe. And now, you do what you did back then. Come sit on my lap, Ji Sehun said, looking directly at her. Hayeon froze again, her thoughts racing. A restaurant with no one else here on a Friday night. Chris suddenly cancelling. None of this is a coincidence. She smiled knowingly. There's no way you planned all this on your own. Ms. Lee and Hyung-sik helped, didn't they? Is it because I've never seen you play before? Because I only monitor your performances. Come and sit, he said again, gesturing to his lap. What are you going to do if I sit? She asked, a playful tone in her voice. I'm going to make you fall for me all over again, Ji Sehun replied, a smile lighting up his face. I've already fallen for you. I don't want to ruin it by touching. Is it okay if I just listen to you play? Hayeon asked. Ji Sehun glanced at her before turning the cello. Let's say you and the cello were to fall right now. Who do you think I'd save? Hayeon sighed. Of course, it'll be me, right? She said, walking over to him and sitting down on his lap as he'd instructed. I'm going to take off my ring for a moment, she said, removing her ring and adjusting herself to hold the cello. She felt something stir beneath her, causing her face to flush. Widen your legs more, he instructed. Wrap both legs around it, he added. Like this, she asked, wrapping her legs around the cello. Yes, like that, he replied. Now, hold the bow. She obeyed, taking the bow properly in hand. Relax, just focus on my hands, he said, gently taking her hands and guiding them. He gently strummed the cello strings as he helped her. This way, he said. She thought about the melody as she played smoothly, her body responding to the music. You still remember this? She asked, glancing up at him. I played it with you. How could I forget? He replied. Is this how he feels when he plays? She thought. She couldn't tell if her heart was thumping or if it was the cello's vibration. The music seemed to fill her. Playing like this. No wonder nothing else interests him, she thought. Suddenly, she felt something, her cheeks flushing. There's something under me, she thought inwardly, quickly glancing up at Ji Sehun. You, she said aloud. What? Isn't it exciting? He asked calmly. Don't you realize where we are? We're in public, she said, her face red. It happens sometimes, he replied, unfazed. What? She exclaimed. If the music is really good, that's what happens, he explained, his words leaving her momentarily stunned. He released her hands. Now, play it on your own. Wait, what? She asked, surprised. She was silent for a moment, glancing at the cello. He gently took her hand, urging her to play. "You're good," he said. "It's you that's playing," she replied. "There's no difference," he said. "Now move your arms, just like that." "Like this?" she asked. "Yes. This is what they teach when you first learn the cello," he explained. I thought he wanted to play together, not give me a lesson, she thought, a little sulking. "This isn't going to ruin your cello, is it?" she asked, glancing at the instrument. "It won't," he replied, letting go of her hand. "Is this why you wanted me to play by myself?" She wondered aloud, playing gently. "To be honest, you're the one who made me like this," he whispered, his voice low. "Sehun, you're distracting me from playing," Hayeon said, trying to focus. "Then stop," he teased. "I thought he wanted me to play," she thought, frustrated. "He underestimates my focus. No matter what, I won't stop until I've moved the bow 50 times. Ji Sehun slid his hand under her dress, causing Hayeon to flinch slightly as she continued to play. "You're really focused," he remarked, noticing her calm demeanor. "I work with you." "This is nothing," she replied, her tone steady. "You just sit still and be my cushion," she added with a small smirk. Ji Sehun placed his hand on hers, slipping an engagement ring onto her finger. Hayeon froze, staring at him in disbelief. "Have you fallen for me? Then marry me," he said calmly. "What? How?" she stuttered, her mind racing. "If you knew when and how I prepared this, you'd be shocked," Ji Sehun thought, recalling the stern advice from Hyungsik and Ms. Lee earlier that day. A ring should be unique, not a reproduction. They had suggested he reenact a memorable moment between them. "You should propose while playing that song you played on your trip," they had told him, and he had nodded in agreement. Hayeon clutched the cello, her mind a blur. "Marriage," she whispered, lost for words. A heavy silence hung between them. Ji Sehun gently set the cello aside before pulling her close, his voice soft but filled with emotion. "I want to be as close to you as possible," he said, his hands holding her affectionately. "Whether it's for work or everyday life. I want to sleep beside you, be one with you. But more than anything, I want to be your husband. I'm already 25. I want to marry you before I get any older, take care of you." Hayeon remained quiet, her heart racing. "Is something missing?" he asked, noticing her silence. "No, it's not that," she replied shyly, her fingers grazing the ring. "So, this is a proposal, right?" she asked. "Yes," he replied, his voice firm yet gentle. "Okay," she murmured, her thoughts still in a whirlwind. "I see. Well, first, thank you. I never imagined you'd propose like this. You really surprised me." "And," he asked, his gaze intense. "Her?" she asked, looking up at him, perplexed. "I don't need your thanks," he said with a slight smirk, watching her expression tense. "Can we go back to the hotel for your answer?" she asked, swiftly standing up. "Why? You can't give me your answer here," he asked, his calm demeanor unchanged. "Yeah. I think it's best if I answer at the hotel," she said, walking toward the cello to carefully arrange it back in its case. As Ji Sehun watched her, he recalled the advice Hyungsik had given him. "You have to kneel when you give her the ring. That's the rule." "Is it because I didn't kneel down?" Ji Sehun wondered aloud, walking toward her. "I got it," he said, stepping in front of her, blocking her path. "Oh, okay. Be careful," she said, placing the cello down gently before walking past him, her mind still trying to process everything. Outside, Hayeon tried calling for a taxi, but Ji Sehun gently grabbed her arm, drawing her attention. "We have a car," he said, nodding towards a limo that had pulled up in front of them. "Huh? Limo," she thought, watching it come to a stop. "Why are you going all out today?" she asked, her voice tinged with tension. "You know," Ji Sehun said with a smile, leaning into the front seat to grab a flower. "Just give me your answer." He handed her the flower, his eyes softening. "Today is all yours. You've never given me flowers before. You're really serious, aren't you?" Hayeon said, holding the flower and feeling her cheeks warm. "No one half-asses a proposal," he replied, watching her closely. "He's really trying to blow me away with all this," she thought, holding the flower. "So, we're taking this car?" she asked, glancing at him. "Yes," he replied simply. The door opened, and Hayeon marveled at the interior of the limo, decorated with flowers. "Whoa," she said, her voice filled with surprise as she slid into the seat, Ji Sehun following her. "Shall we depart for my planned route?" the driver asked politely. No, go straight to the hotel, Ji Sehun instructed, his voice steady. Sehun, can we open the window? Hayeon asked quietly, feeling tense, but he didn't respond. The ride was quiet, and before long, they arrived at the hotel. They stepped out of the limo, still holding hands. What about all those flowers? Hayeon asked as they made their way inside. Forget them, Ji Sehun said, leading her inside. Once they reached their room, Hayeon entered first and was taken aback by the sight of flowers everywhere. What is all this? She asked, her voice dazed. I asked them to bring all the flowers they could find, Ji Sehun said, his hands unbuttoning his shirt as he walked toward her. He wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her close as he kissed her. I told you. Today is your day, he murmured, breaking the kiss but holding her face gently. Now, give me your answer. Hayeon pushed his chest lightly, stepping back. Let me take a shower first. I can't wait any longer. Answer me first, he said, his voice serious as his gaze locked on hers. Sehun, she called softly, her tone hesitant. It was hard waiting for you until you adjusted. How much longer do I have to keep waiting? I know you've been preparing for this for a long time, she continued, her eyes searching his. I want to prepare just as much as you did. Let me take a shower, okay, she asked, her voice gentle. You go shower too. He released her waist and walked toward the bathroom. After taking his shower, Ji Sehun lay on the bed, his mind racing. Park Hyung-sik. I thought you said she'd love the flowers, he muttered under his breath, frustration creeping in. A moment later, Hayeon entered the room in her bathrobe, a cheerful smile on her face. I'm done, she said, stepping toward him. When should I get down on one knee? He asked, his voice light but with an edge of seriousness. What? Hayeon asked, her voice uncertain. As Ji Sehun turned his head to look at her, his cheeks flushed slightly. She's so damn pretty, he thought, feeling his composure waver for a second before regaining it, his gaze steady once more. Hayeon placed her hand gently on his chest, causing Ji Sehun to glance down at it. Ji Sehun, she said softly. The reason I couldn't answer at the restaurant is that I thought it was unfair. What do you mean? He asked, his brow furrowing in confusion. Hayeon slowly undid her robe, revealing the lingerie beneath. I was planning to propose to you, she said, her voice steady. But you beat me to it. Ji Sehun's gaze softened, and he fell silent, his expression flushed. Sehun, she called gently, getting a quick yeah from him. She showed him a ring. This is my answer to your wish of taking care of me. And I have a few things I want to add. She slipped it onto his finger before sitting on his lap. I don't think I can wait until you turn 26. I'll take care of you forever. Just be here with me, she whispered, kissing him gently before pulling away, her cheeks flushed. Will you be my husband? She asked quietly. I was going to propose to you after your concerts, she explained. But when you proposed earlier, I was caught off guard. I was worried my plans would go to waste if I answered you then. He didn't speak, watching her quietly. You were disappointed, weren't you? She asked, her voice soft. You looked upset. Ji Sehun sat up, pulling her in for a brief kiss before breaking it with a smile. No. I don't remember anything, he said playfully. So, are you going to give me an answer? Do you even have to ask? He asked, his smile widening. Should we find a venue tomorrow? She smiled back, her cheeks still flushed. Working with you made me realize how difficult it is to separate love and work. You could have just asked me earlier, he said, his voice warm. I'm scared, she admitted, her voice soft. I think I'll be even happier than I am now once we're married. Why? He asked. I already know you're going to be so much sweeter to me, she replied, her voice soft with affection. Hey, she teased, playfully swatting his hand away. Who said you could answer with your body? I'll show you how sweet I can be, he said with a grin, pulling her onto the bed. Let's pretend today is our first night. They kissed again, and he gently grabbed her leg. This feels like revenge for earlier, she teased. No, that's not it, he said, his voice sincere. But, be honest. You're mad at me, aren't you? Maybe a little, he said, smiling. How did it feel to tease me? Thrilling, she said, flushed, her voice quiet. And I just couldn't answer you there. He leaned closer, kissing her softly. You're the only one who knows how I feel. Hayeon sat up slightly. It's hard not to look at you, Ji Sehun admitted, his cheeks flushed. I could say the same about you, she replied, smiling softly. He has no idea how captivating he looks, Hayeon thought to herself. I'm all yours, she said, leaning forward to kiss him again. Sehun, she murmured, looking at him closely. Do you want me? Yes, he replied. Are you seriously going to tease me like that? She asked, feeling her cheeks flush. Okay, fine, he said, with a smirk. You're with your husband now. Sehun, you. The next morning, Ji Sehun sat reading the newspaper, his focus on the page in front of him. Hyung-sik approached, walking in quickly. Sehun, there you are, Hyung-sik said, sitting down across from him. I rushed over as soon as I saw your message. Now, tell me how it went. Ji Sehun remained silent, his gaze turned away from him. Hyung-sik leaned forward, looking anxious. What is it? Why aren't you saying anything? Hyung-sik pressed. Come on, hurry up and tell me. Without a word, Ji Sehun extended his hand, showing Hyung-sik the ring on his finger. Huh? Hyung-sik asked, staring at the ring. What's that ring? Hayeon gave it to me, Ji Sehun replied calmly, his eyes on the ring as he spoke. Huh? Hyung-sik exclaimed, taken aback. She proposed to you last night. Ji Sehun nodded, still watching the ring on his finger. Yeah, she did. What are you talking about? You're the one who proposed, Hyung-sik said, looking at Ji Sehun in surprise. I did, but it turns out Hayeon was also planning to propose to me, Ji Sehun explained. So you guys both proposed to each other? Are you serious? Did she really say she was planning to propose? Hyung-sik asked, still confused. Yeah. She was a little disappointed that I beat her to it, Ji Sehun replied, his voice calm, a small smile playing on his lips. Really? But we worked so hard on that, Hyung-sik sulked, before looking up. Anyway, congrats, Sehun. You're going to be a married man. I know, right? Looks like I'm first to go, Ji Sehun said, grinning slightly. Hyung-sik couldn't help but think to himself, I don't even have time to date because of you. What happened to the ring you got? Hyung-sik asked, curiosity piqued. You can have it, Ji Sehun replied nonchalantly. What? Hyung-sik said, sounding shocked. Yeah. I don't need it anymore. You can keep it or sell it, whatever, Ji Sehun said, gently rubbing his own ring. Just then, Hayeon walked in, holding a plate of food. Good morning, Hyung-sik, she greeted, smiling as she stepped in. Ah, right. Good morning, he greeted politely. He couldn't help but think, she must be starving with that full plate. She sat beside Ji Sehun. Hayeon, I heard everything from Sehun. Congratulations, Hyung-sik said, offering his congratulations. Thank you, she said, her cheeks slightly flushed. I'm embarrassed hearing that from you though. You helped out with everything, didn't you? Not really. It was mostly Ms. Lee, Hyung-sik responded, just as Ms. Lee entered the room. Ah, speak of the devil, Hyung-sik said, glancing at Ms. Lee. What? Were you talking about me? She asked, taking a seat and glancing at the couple. Looks like everything worked out, she added with a smile. Hayeon, how was the food at the restaurant last night? Ms. Lee asked. You won't believe what happened, Hyung-sik said quickly. It turns out Hayeon was planning to propose too. That's why he has 2 rings now. Oh my. I had no idea, Ms. Lee exclaimed, covering her mouth in surprise. How could you hide that from us? Oh, no, don't take it the wrong way. I only kept it private because it was personal, Hayeon explained, looking a little flustered. I'm just kidding with you, Ms. Lee said, laughing. You had me going there, Hayeon said, embarrassed, covering her flushed face. A waiter walked up to the table, placing plates of food down. Since you have to perform soon, we ordered protein-rich meals for you. Eat up. We have to leave the hotel in 40 minutes, Hayeon said. Okay, I will, Ji Sehun replied, resting his hand on her shoulder. Take your arm off my shoulder, Sehun, she said coolly, folding her arms. Okay, he said, eating his food. Be sure to chew, she remarked, giving him a pointed look. Hyung-sik thought to himself, he's like a little puppy, always obeying her. Ji Sehun, holding a piece of steak with his cutlery, reached toward her. Here, want a bite? No thanks, I'm good, she said. Say he teased. She sighed but obediently ate the food. He reached for another piece of steak. I'm good. I prefer a salad and a piece of toast in the morning, she replied. Make an exception for today. You need to recharge too. You didn't get much sleep last night, Ji Sehun said, causing her to nearly choke on her food. Miss Kim, are you okay? Ms. Lee asked. Oh, yes, I'm fine, Hayeon replied, her cough gradually subsiding. Miss Kim, you have no idea how hard we worked to get all those flowers and set everything up. We had to hire 10 people to buy all the flowers in the area and arrange them. It all got done within 2 hours while you two were out for dinner, Hyungsik explained. I see. I never imagined I'd be getting a proposal like this. I was so surprised and delighted, Hayeon said, chuckling slightly, her cheeks flushed. Hyungsik and Ms. Lee, thank you for everything. Thank you so much for considering all the details to make it so special. It was nothing. I wanted to do it for you, Ji Sehun said calmly. She's thanking us. Why are you answering for us? Hyungsik and Ms. Lee thought simultaneously, both slightly flinching. Oh my, just look at how they gaze at each other, Hyungsik thought, watching them exchange affectionate glances, both their faces flushed. That's true. He really wanted to do it for you, so that's why we helped. We helped out because we wanted the best for both of you. We're proud and happy for you, Hyungsik said to Hayeon. If you hadn't said yes, I'm sure the flowers wouldn't have stayed that beautiful, Ms. Lee added with a smile. Oh, right. About that, Hayeon began. There were so many flowers, so I asked the hotel if they could pass them out to their guests. What did they say? Ms. Lee asked, surprised. They were happy to. It was my proposal, but I thought spreading the love could make it that much more special. How great would it be if they could smile like I did yesterday? The flowers have their own special meaning too, Hayeon said, smiling. My intuition about her was right, Ms. Lee thought, a grin forming on her lips. Looks like Sehun has found himself a great partner. You both just need to tell your parents now, right? Ms. Lee added with a smile. Yes, to be honest, my parents already had an idea when I moved here with Sehun, Hayeon replied. They'll be happy to hear the news, then. Sehun's mother has visited you once, hasn't she? Ms. Lee asked. Hayeon remembered the sudden visit to Germany, which startled her as Sehun's mother entered the theater, meeting her backstage. Sehun is on stage performing right now. I wasn't expecting you, Hayeon had said, looking startled. It doesn't matter. It's you I'm here to see, Sehun's mother had replied, pulling off her glasses. Yes, I was extremely grateful when she came to see me. Once we get back to Korea, we'll talk to our parents and set a date, Hayeon said. Do you think that will work? Hyungsik asked, looking a bit concerned. We'll have to make it work. He does have a full schedule right now, though, Hayeon replied. After this, he has a tour around Japan and China, Hyungsik thought. It looks like you'll be able to plan for something starting next summer. That's when he'll be able to go back to Korea, Hyungsik said. Right. You're okay with that, right, Sehun? Hayeon asked, looking at Ji Sehun. Ji Sehun glanced at her, his gaze affectionate. Hyungsik thought, Sehun's okay with it? I was worried for nothing. Since we got help from Chris, let's have dinner at that restaurant tonight. It's my treat, so Ms. Lee and Hyungsik should join us too, Hayeon proposed. Ah, right. Let's do that, Hyungsik replied cheerfully. Just tell me, Ms. Lee. I know you've always been backing us, Hayeon said. Okay, fine. Since you two are getting married, let's party, Ms. Lee replied. I don't know if I can keep up with you, but I'll try. Hyungsik, you can order all the alcohol you want. It's my treat. You got it. Hyungsik said, clenching his fist. Oh, I didn't realize it was getting this late. We'd better get going, Hayeon said, checking the time on her phone. We'll see you two later, she said to them, standing up with Ji Sehun. Okay, see you soon, Ms. Lee replied. Ji Sehun, still quiet, calmly held her shoulder. She leaned against him as they walked, her hand resting on his back. We're not even their parents, but I feel weird inside, Hyungsik said, his face flushed as they watched the couple leave. I know. They won't need our help anymore, right? Only happiness is ahead of them, Ms. Lee said softly. Ji Sehun and Hayeon stopped midway, having a brief discussion before Hayeon left while Ji Sehun returned. Huh? Why is he coming back? Hyungsik asked. What's wrong? Do you need something? He asked, noticing Ji Sehun walking toward him. Ji Sehun leaned in, whispering, look for a wedding venue. Somewhere available within the next month. Hyungsik was taken aback. Of course. I knew this is how it would be, he thought, processing Ji Sehun's request. They soon returned to Korea after Ji Sehun's tour ended. Hayeon felt cheerful as she entered their house. Tall buildings close together, terrible traffic. Coming back to Korea after 2 years is making me realize I miss these things, she thought to herself. A lot had changed in the past 2 years. She was now 28, listened to classical music more than pop, her German had improved, and she was married. 4 days after the proposal, Ji Sehun had taken her to an outdoor wedding venue. How is it? He asked as they held hands. It's beautiful, she said, watching a couple's wedding in the distance. Take a good look. This is where you and I will be standing next week, Ji Sehun told her. What do you mean? She asked, sounding confused. I already booked the venue, he replied. For the wedding? She asked, a bit surprised. Yeah, our wedding, he said, holding her hand tighter. I thought we were getting married next year because of your schedule, she said, her gaze still on him. Don't worry, we'll have a ceremony in Korea too. We'll go look at dresses tomorrow. The rehearsal is next Saturday morning. The ceremony will be at 1 p.m., and Justin will officiate. The flower arrangements will be similar to how it's set up now, just the right amount. You want this too, right? He asked. Hayeon stood there in a daze, imagining herself with a happy smile on the podium, standing next to Ji Sehun. We can't register our marriage yet, so we might as well do the wedding ceremony right away, he added. So that's how they ended up getting married in Vienna, where they barely knew anyone. Her worries about whether anyone would show up turned out to be unnecessary, as many people from around the world came just for Sehun. Hayeon realized once again how special Sehun was in the classical music industry. He was irreplaceable. The one and only. Now, since I'm his wife, I'll take even better care of him, she thought inwardly. One day, while sitting in a cafe, Hayeon overheard 2 women talking nearby, which caught her attention. Did you see that article? The third son of Daemyeon Group just got married, one lady said. Oh. Ji Sehun is super handsome. Another star has left us, the second lady replied. They're talking about us, Hayeon thought, her interest piqued. Apparently, it wasn't an arranged marriage. He married a regular person. It's his manager. They probably fell in love while working together. Lucky her. Her husband is young, handsome, and rich, the first lady revealed. What do you mean? You think his family would be satisfied with someone like that? The second lady asked, sounding intrigued. Hayeon quickly pictured Ji Sehun's parents showering her with gifts. She has nothing to worry about. She's always away overseas with Sehun anyway, the first lady said. Oh, I guess so. It must feel like getting to travel all the time, the second lady responded. It's not like that at all. I work the whole time, Hayeon thought, stifling a laugh. I bet they got married because she got pregnant. There's no other explanation, the first lady said, startling Hayeon. How could they know everything? She wondered, placing her hands gently on her tummy. What the? The rumors are all opposite of the truth. Hayeon thought, feeling dazed. Think about it. Ji Sehun is only 26 years old. Why else would they rush to get married the moment they arrive in Korea? I'm not pregnant, she thought, her gaze serious. She probably went after him with hopes of becoming the daughter-in-law of Daemyeon Group. I bet she's the one who begged him to marry her, the first lady said. So that's what people think of me. Whatever. Who cares what they think, Hayeon thought, sighing. Just then, her phone rang. As long as I love Sehun and is happy, that's all that matters, she told herself as she answered the call. Hi, Hyungsik, she greeted. Ms. Kim. Where are you? He asked. I'm at a coffee shop right now, she replied. A coffee shop? Weren't you going to be here as soon as you were done with your errands? Hyungsik asked, sounding worried. I'm in a coffee shop on the first floor of the studio. I stopped by to get coffee for the staff. I ordered 25, so it's taking a bit longer. Do you think we'll need more? She asked. No, that's plenty. If you're nearby. I thought you were just relaxing. I knew that wasn't like you, he replied. How's Sehun doing? Hayeon asked. Good, Hyungsik answered. They're also doing an interview, right? Yes, Ms. Lee is on high alert over that. They've only been asking questions about the wedding, he told her. I see, she replied calmly. Sehun is in a really bad mood. You have to get here fast, Hyungsik whispered, unaware that Ji Sehun was standing right behind him. What are you doing? Ji Sehun asked, causing Hyung-sik to end the call abruptly. Huh? Nothing. It's just my cousin. This little jerk called to borrow some money. Hyung-sik lied, looking tense. Hayeon glanced at her phone, confused by the sudden end of the call. She walked to the front desk. I'm sorry. How long do you think it's going to take? She asked the sales rep. Sorry, can you give me just 5 more minutes? The rep said, smiling politely. Ah, sure. Hayeon replied. Her gaze turned a little sad as she thought, Ji Sehun. He told me he would be fine without me. Back at the studio, Hyung-sik was feeling tense. I don't have any money to give him. He should know better, he muttered to Ji Sehun. Ji Sehun stared at him quietly. That was Hayeon, wasn't it? He asked. No. It was my cousin. He suddenly asked me to lend him $8,300, Hyung-sik said, looking nervous. Ji Sehun stepped closer, his gaze stern. Hyung-sik was startled. What are you thinking? He stuttered. Nothing. I was just wondering if you need all 10 of your fingers to work for me, Ji Sehun threatened. Of course, I need my hands. I need to drive for you and open your water bottles. And I need to be able to do this, Hyung-sik said, forming a heart shape with both hands, his eyes glinting. Ji Sehun glared at him. Okay, fine. I called to see where she was, he revealed to Ji Sehun. Did you rush her? Ji Sehun asked. Yeah. She said she's waiting for coffee. She's at a coffee place nearby. You'll feel better when she gets here, which also means the session will end sooner, Hyung-sik said. I guess you told her I'm in a bad mood too, didn't you? Ji Sehun asked, his gaze serious. Yeah, but these are the things I used to do. It's not easy to stop just like that. I get that she's your wife now, but she's also still your manager, Hyung-sik said, tense. Ji Sehun was silent for a moment. At least I didn't tell her there's a delay in the session, Hyung-sik added quickly. If you'd told her that, you'd already be missing a finger, Ji Sehun told him. Hyung-sik pouted. What's wrong with him? He had 2 wedding ceremonies and even got his marriage license. Why is he in such a bad mood whenever Hayeon isn't around? He listens to everything she says, but why does he hide his negative feelings from her? Is everything okay with you and Hayeon? Hyung-sik asked. Sure, Ji Sehun replied. Okay, yeah. I don't see anything wrong. That was a stupid question, Hyung-sik muttered, but Ji Sehun interrupted him. I get anxious, Ji Sehun said softly. Huh. Hyung-sik thought, looking unsure. I thought if we got married, the anxiety would go away. But it's the same, Ji Sehun admitted, his gaze shy. Hey, let's talk about it outside. I don't think anyone should hear this, Hyung-sik said, glancing around quickly before leading Ji Sehun to somewhere private. What do you mean? Tell me everything, Hyung-sik urged. Telling you won't change anything, Ji Sehun replied softly. I don't just hold it in. Tell me. Man to man. You said everything would be fine after you got married, and then you said it isn't. What does that mean? What's making you anxious? Hyung-sik asked, looking interested. I like Hayeon, Ji Sehun admitted. Sure, you're still newlyweds, Hyung-sik said, crossing his arms. I want to get rid of any men that cross her path. Whoever it is, if a man is talking to her and making eye contact, it bothers me. When I see her calling out another man's name with the same mouth that kissed me, I get annoyed. To be honest, I only want her to use her tongue to say my name or to kiss me. I thought she'd finally be mine completely. Whatever she touches, whether a person or an object, makes me jealous. When she calls another man's name or shakes his hand, it makes me upset, even though they met through work. I can't tell her to stop because I know it's just her job, Ji Sehun said, his voice tinged with frustration. I want to kiss her all day because there's not a single place on her body that's not beautiful. I wish all the marks I've made could be tattooed onto her, so they'd stay forever. I want Hayeon to both want and need me. If I broke a bone and got hospitalized, she'd take care of me all day, right? Honestly, I wouldn't mind that life. I think it would be better than standing in front of a camera doing these interviews. Hyung-sik listened quietly, taking it all in. I even thought about falling down a flight of stairs a few times. The only thing that stops me is the thought of Hayeon crying. If only I could be the only one to lay eyes on her. I want to lock her up so she can't run away. But that's illegal, right? Ji Sehun asked, a troubled look crossing his face. Yeah, of course. Dude, you'd be all over the news. Hyung-sik said, looking perplexed. I've been on the news a few times already. I don't think it'll matter, Ji Sehun said, looking away. You idiot. How is being on the news for national prestige the same as being on the news as a criminal? Hayeon thought, his gaze tense. I thought he would change for the better after getting married, but no. He's turning into a psychopath. Don't ever share those thoughts with Hayeon, okay? It's not just advice. I'm serious, Hayeon warned. I know, Ji Sehun replied calmly. I thought these feelings would disappear after getting married. 1 in 2 married couples get divorced. I need something stronger to keep us together. I need something stronger than the law to keep Hayeon with me, so that she'll never want to leave me, Ji Sehun thought, his gaze lingering on his wedding ring. Let's go back in. I think you should see a professional about those thoughts and get couples counseling too, Hayeon suggested as they headed back inside. Inside, they saw Hayeon talking with some staff. Hello, it's nice to meet you. I'm Ji Sehun's manager. Thank you so much for your hard work, Hayeon said cheerfully, handing coffee to the staff. Oh, my. You shouldn't have. Thank you so much, they replied. I brought lattes, caramel macchiatos, and just plain black coffee. So have whatever you like, she said, smiling. I'll have a black coffee, please, a man replied. Ah, here, she said, calmly handing him the coffee. Hayeon tensed as he watched her from a distance. No. Hayeon. Don't pass out the coffee, he thought, feeling uneasy. Thank you. It's really hot out, isn't it? The man said to Hayeon. Yeah, it's summer, she replied gently. Work must be hard. You're really sweating, he said. Oh, she said, realizing she was sweating on her forehead. After bringing all that up here, why don't you have a drink yourself? The man suggested. Sure, I will, she replied. From where he stood, Ji Sehun's gaze remained fixed on Hayeon. Hayeon looked tense. Sehun? Just calm down, Hayeon said, trying to block him. But Ji Sehun didn't respond. Instead, he walked toward Hayeon. Thank you for joining us on this incredible adventure. If you enjoyed what you watched, please consider liking, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell. Your comments mean the world to us and help us improve. The next episode promises even more excitement and unexpected twists, so stay tuned as we embark on this thrilling journey together. Keep the anticipation alive, and we'll catch you in the next episode.